Well, good morning and welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us on our 91st episode of Lightbulb Moments. Remember, money isn't the most important thing in life, but it's reasonably close to oxygen on the gotta have it scale. I am Tom Kuhn. I'm the CEO of Qnity and Qnity of Schools, as well as a Beauty Changes Lives board member. Glad to have you with us today. At Qnity, we like to take what's complicated, overwhelming, and confusing and create a clear and simpler path towards greater financial wellness for you, your team, your stakeholders, your family, etc., using a simple, visual, and actionable approach. So financial wellness for Pro Beauty is what we're about. We have a Money Pro, which is now a benefit that your employees will love. That will impact their lives with better financial wellness and will help you as an employer. We launched that this summer. We also have our financial success training, financial literacy course for students. We're already up to almost 100 campuses in a very short amount of time and are able to touch many students going forward. Also, we have a Money SBO live workshop in Minnesota on September 19th and 20th, led by Candace Gliotto. Remember to prosper, manage your ATM, your attention, time, and money. And it's not lost on us that you're spending your precious time with us today, whether you're listening to us live or listening to the recording on YouTube. We're pleased you decided to join us and welcome you to our community. Our last guest was Van Council. It was a three-peat. It was the third time I actually had Van on as a guest, and he never disappoints. Several light bulb moments from Van. Everybody was taking great notes. He was very vulnerable and very sharing. He shared numbers, shared a strategy, shared a little bit about a survey he did and how he made changes to his company that affect the workforce. It was a great session. It is recorded on YouTube. You might want to definitely check this one out. This week, I have as a two-peat Diane Stevens, who I had as a guest back in December of 2020, which is way too long. So we're going to get caught up with Diane today and talk about some expansion, how her family has a passion for her business, even though they have other jobs. And then we're also going to talk about Diane in some other capacities here. So we'll get to that in a couple moments. Past recordings of this are posted in the Profits portal as well as on YouTube. And we welcome not only salons and spas, but also schools into this conversation. I'm going to get to next a announcement here. We are formally opening data submission for phase 2 of the Pro Beauty compensation study. I want to spend a moment on this, and I want to actually take you to our webpage. This is really an important milestone. We've been working for weeks to make sure that the confidentiality agreement's tight, that the messaging is tight, the methodology is reviewed. We just have, this has been like a major project. And today, we're going to open up data submission. We have a hefty goal to get to 300 businesses and at least 7,500 employees. And we need all the support and help we can get. This is a data collaboration that supports the entire industry. I'm going to just take a quick moment, and I want to give you a glimpse of the website. And what that will do is it'll give you a little bit of context to this and a place to go to. So a quick share. So on our webpage, you can see I'll put the URL up there in a moment. It's actually, it should be under the data. There it is. It should be under the data tab on our website. This is an industry-wide data collaboration. And it really addresses, and I'm clarifying something, it's not only a career in cosmetology as it relates to compensation, but also hours. So anyway, there's a lot of new and fresh information and data on here. It's been dramatically updated, and also we haven't really made it clear what's in it for people to be in the study other than helping the industry. And this report will be quite robust. We're going to cover phase 2 of the study is going to include many, many more findings, including unstaffed and open position, compensation structures, Plus, we're going to provide some education on how to use the data. So there's a lot of benefits to be part of the study. Hopefully you are either in the study. If you're in phase 1 of the study, you're automatically, if you've already submitted your data, you just need to complete a survey in a couple of weeks. If you have not been in the study, we strongly urge you to be part of it. All you have to do is click the button here. When you click the button, it'll take you over to a page where it'll confirm your eligibility, which basically says you'll submit accurate data. You're an employee-based salon with 20 or fewer locations. You're going to do a few different things, okay? And the first step is that if you haven't filled out this form, this is your call to action today. Go to this page here and just fill out who the contact information is. It outlines the process and all of that. It should be super simple. So big milestone today in terms of being able to launch this. I do want to scroll down and go through a think tank. What we've done is we've assembled a think tank, including Diane Stevens. We've asked Diane Stevens to be part of our think tank. We have a blue chip, and more names are being added to this think tank here. A variety of different backgrounds, bringing a lot of credibility to this study, which is awesome. We also have an amazing study team. Lightheart Sanders will be the independent CPA firm that payroll data is submitted to in phase 2. So we won't even see the payroll data. It'll go directly to the CPAs, and members of their team are highly qualified analysts. I was going to maybe give Jared a chance to say hi today, but we're just going to keep it simple today and just take you to the web page here. So anyway, big milestone for us. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. All right, now back to I've got a light bulb moment here for you this week here. And so I'm going to share my screen with something else. So please use the chat. We always love to hear from all of you. So let's do this, and I'm going to. All right, so light bulb moment, interesting article here, and I'm going to have someone from our team posted in the chat here, and it's from Inc. magazine. It just came out, and it's called "The Great Resignation is Turning into the Great Regret. Employers are joining in too." So many employees who join the Great Resignation are discovering the grass isn't greener, and the companies that hire them have regrets as well. So you might want to check out this article. So while we haven't seen the end of our collective desire to, quote, take this job and shove it, new studies are showing enough people have acted on an impulse now that the Great Resignation has spawned to the Great Regret. A survey of 2,500 workers from the job search site, The Muse, found that 72% experienced either surprise or regret that the new position or new company they quit their job for turned out to be very different from what they were led to believe. Nearly half, 48% of those workers said they would try to get their old job back. I have an interesting question for you in the chat. So if someone wanted to come back, would you take them back? And
hey, Tom.
Yes?
This is Sonia. We can't get the chat to work this morning. I'm wondering if you can make me a co-host of the meeting so I can get it fixed.
Okay, so let us do that. Thank you for that. So I am going to see what I can do here. Now, that is a little bit of an issue, so bear with us, everybody. All right, allow panelists to, okay, let's just see here, Sonia, more. Make co-host.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Sonia. It's a great call out. I do not like it when we don't have chat. All right, so anyway.
Should be fixed now.
All right, perfect. So back to the Great Resignation. So yes, nearly half of the workers said they'd try to get their old job back. So my question to you in the chat, now that the chat will be working here, we'll be able to access it, is would you take any employees that left? Would you take them back? And if yes, why? Or if no, why not? So let's get a little chat going there. Now, also, This article continues to talk about, companies also maybe cutting back a little bit here. So now here's the takeaway here. Data continues to show that workers are incredibly burned out and intolerant of toxic and exploitive cultures. So the lesson for employers definitely isn't that you can't go back to treating your people shabbily now. So the great regret isn't licensed to be a toxic or cheapskate boss. Now, this is where the compensation findings come in very well, because having this kind of data, perhaps to recruit people back, could be very powerful. Okay, so this what this national wave of resignation regret does signal for us is that many of us, both leaders and employees alike, were too hasty in making decisions over the past couple of years. There's good reason our thinking hasn't always been at its clearest, of course. So going forward, we all should think a bit more carefully before resigning or hiring. And one of the reasons we get together each week is so that we can think very clearly through the power of collaborative thinking and guests such as Diane, who I'm going to bring on in just a second here. So anyway, that's my light bulb moment of the week. Check out the article. Sonia will put it in the chat. Curious some of your thoughts. Would you take your employees back? What do you think of the article, et cetera, et cetera? All right. Where is she? Good morning, Diane. How are you? Let's get you on camera.
Good morning.
Off mute. We have that picture. Are we going to see you this morning again? Do you see what's we don't have you camera live. We have an image of cheers to 20 years.
Sure. I keep pushing start video, but it's not starting. So
all right. Let's see what we can do here. Okay. We've got a couple different things going on here. Ask to start video.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Let's see if this works. There you are. How are you?
Hello.
Well, so, it's great to see you again. And we had you as a guest. I mentioned this already. I can't believe it was December 2nd of 2020. I've seen you since then. In fact, I had the opportunity to meet you face to face for the first time, as well as your handsome husband.
Aww.
And members of your team. So it was great to meet you in person. So we actually met through some other means. You were a guest on the roundtable. And when you were on, we talked about diversity, adversity, giving back. And you have one of my favorite light bulb moment quotes. All right. All right. So here it is. This was your quote. We published this. And it is, "The world has gone nuts. Hairdressers can save the world." Welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back. Thank you for having me.
So you've got a lot going on. You've got a curriculum that you've launched. We'll talk about that. You have a new salon. You're relocating your salon. I want to go deeper into that one a little bit. Okay. But first of all, I did want to thank you for agreeing to be a member of our think tank for the compensation study.
Absolutely.
And you're in DC, right?
DC market. Yes.
How far are you to the Capitol?
We could walk.
So one of the reasons I invited you to be part of the think tank is, would you just walk over to the Capitol and talk to people in Washington about this industry and advocate for them? And what's really cool is you serve a lot of really high-powered clients. Talk about some of your clientele that you work with in DC and your second location, which is in Maryland. So we'll talk about clientele a little bit about the two locations, how you're going to get you to, influence public policy and that kind of stuff.
Sure. The clientele, I mean, you just never know. DC is just ever evolving. So you could get someone that is on the Republican side, the Democrat side. These are the players in the world. And we just keep them on different floors, but actually they're friends. They golf and they're friends. Down to one time I had a celebrity come, and she was one of the oldest celebrities, Cicely Tyson. So she walks in the door without an appointment. And I'm like, are you Cicely Tyson? So we just get everything and everyone from ambassadors, so many people in Congress. It's a good time.
Do I have your permission to show a couple W-2s? You've whited out the names and all of that. All right. And then, so I'm going to pull the slides up one more time. I'm going to do things. I'm going to show the W-2s. Then I'm going to show a little video you sent me about your new location, and we'll go into the new location and why it's different, some of the innovation you're bringing to it, the economics around it. So let's continue this conversation. All right. So now here's a couple of W-2s, and you didn't necessarily pick high earners, but we got one at 86,000, one at 76,000. Talk a little bit about your workforce and, you know, the makeup, a male, female, et cetera, et cetera.
I would say we are almost 90% female. We're very diverse in nationalities, from Ethiopia, Middle Eastern, African American, Latin American. Like I said, the makeup is mainly women. Pretty much a new type of schedule, maybe a 3-day work schedule. Nobody works more than a 4-day work schedule. Just a great group of think tank folks. I mean, they're always coming up with new discoveries. They always come up with new ways to use products. Quite a fantastic group. Our clientele at one location, in our Greenbelt, Maryland location, I would say 99% African-American women, the power players in the world. They have the curly hair, and sometimes they want it blown out, color, everything. And then in NDC, same thing, a high concentration of curly women, all nationalities, and a lot of men. A lot of men's haircuts. A lot of men aren't going to the barbershop, they're coming to the grooming concepts. So that's the general mix. DC, a bit of everything. And then in Maryland, it is pretty niche. And it's a great niche area.
All right. So you have your two locations right now, the one in Maryland and the one in DC. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be moving your DC location. So why are you moving?
That's a great question. Of course, it's for financial gain, but there's also some charm in there. So I went to, Wella had me go to the south of France once, and I kept that visual. I had to go for, let's see, Sophie Turner and what's the musical group? I should know this, the Jonas Brothers, right? So I go to, I'm on the team to style the hair for their bridal party, and the guys and the women. And there was such a charm in these, the homes that we were doing their hair in, and even the cobblestone on the ground. There was such a beautiful charm, a lot of greenery. So in walking in DC, I saw this location on the corner, and it was for lease. But I ignored it. I was like, oh, no, don't need to look at that property. But then the owner's friend was an architect next door. And we just started talking. I went to go visit, fell in love. We worked out a deal about a year and a half later. It was like a year and a half later working through the numbers on this deal. And then I have a 6-chair right now, a very small DC location, small but powerful, small but very impactful. And then I decided I wanted to expand it to a 10 chair, and also add in some waxing services and things like that.
My guess is that your revenue per square foot is off the charts already in DC. And so this location is going to give you 4 more chairs, and you're bringing a European influence into this. You're bringing in influence from France and Italy. And so part of it is creating the environment that you're really looking for, right, Diane?
That's really what it is. It's funny because, you know, when I worked in Georgetown, which is a very trendy area in DC, before I opened my own salon, I did 100% straight hair. Then I start my own concept and I do 100% curly hair. And so remember that quote that I made, the world's going nuts. I want to be part of the solution. I want every person to experience something great. It doesn't matter what your hair texture is. You know, I've always valued diversity in, doesn't matter who sits in my chair with regard to hair texture. I think that that's hairdressers. We all are fully 100% in that new demand. Doesn't matter, we're not going to run to the back of the room because it's like, oh my goodness, I can't do her color correction. No, if you're a colorist, you do the color correction. Doesn't matter what the texture is. We just have to continue to grow.
Something interesting about you and your situation is how your family plays into the business, and it's quite different. And I want to call that out. I mean, we're centering on this new location, and part of this new location is that you have an option to buy the real estate. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what the kids want.
So now let me get to the kids, and let me just sort of set this up. So you have 3 children.
Yes.
You have a daughter and 2 sons, and I think you have 2 daughter-in-laws and some grandchildren, including a brand new grandchild. Congratulations. I mean, literally days ago.
Thank you.
Now, but none of the kids work. All the kids have full-time jobs elsewhere, correct? So none of them are in cosmetology.
Not even one. They're truly business spirited people. They have careers, like major careers in their occupations.
And one of them, I don't know which one, works for a 3 initial government agency that will be unnamed, and I'm not even sure that but I think we can guess one of these 3 letter agencies that, and apparently when you call on the phone, I mean, they obviously don't identify themselves as where they work because that would violate. So they're working in a secretive world, but yet they come in over the weekends. They got these high-powered jobs, and they want the business to continue. Is that correct?
And I love that. They want to run the business. They can't wait for the opportunity. They work part-time, like my daughter, the one that works for that special locate I can't share. I did ask her though, I said, well, how do you answer the phone? She said, I say hello. They know where they're calling. I just laughed at that. But she comes every Saturday, and she does guest services and supervises the floor in the Maryland location, which is a high volume location. And she just gets right in there. My one son who he has children as well, so he works from home in IT, and he scans the book to make sure there's no duplicates. He's always online, so that's what he does. And the other one does all the finances, and he is always pushing the boundaries. I remember just when I think about financing this relocation, he's on the numbers, trying to find out the best way, interest-wise, to do what we need to do.
Now, are they employees of the business?
They are employees of the business, but part-time, not full-time.
Let's take a quick glimpse at your, So you sent me a little video. Hopefully we can get this thing to work here. And I think, so this is really work in process, right? Let's check it out.
Yes.
Oh my. Oh, look at the brick, huh?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, so you're in the thick of things right now. I mean, you're in the middle of a build out. Boy, that looks familiar to a lot of people on this call. They're kind of used to this. We've got the sound turned off. There's a basement, it looks like.
Yeah.
Who's our leader here? Is this your construction guy?
You know what? Actually, he's the architect. He's
the
just
architect.
walking some of the employees through. They were getting a video for me. Just
right.
to take the face.
All right. Well, this is, there's a window in the basement, it looks like too, huh?
There is, that egress and all that stuff. They have to have a walk out in the basement as well. And then there's a window as well. So there's actually 2 light sources there, that egress where you can actually walk out of the basement, and then that window as well.
So why don't you let us know when the grand opening is? We'll make an announcement on this, and certainly we should let the world know about your grand opening. You think it's going to be in December or January, or when will it be?
Well, they say November. I don't believe it. I'm saying December. But the wonderful thing is where we are. The gentleman says he can extend month to month if we need to go into January, February. Because like you said, everybody on this call, they know what's going on with this build out. So we've passed all of the construction permits, electrical, plumbing, and also DCRA, which is our regulatory agency in DC.
All right. So a few notes from in our conversation. You mentioned, I was surprised by this, that your DC location has a more diverse clientele than Maryland. Now that may seem to be, well, that makes sense, but speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, DC, quite a unique salon environment. The per ticket price on each client is out the roof. The experience is similar to my Maryland location, but it's more intimate. It's more of a boutique type experience. And there are people that just love that. So the word of mouth for DC has been, oh, it's very relaxed. It's a wonderful environment. Sometimes people will come in and they're like, oh, Diane, I didn't put this on, but I would love to get a keratin and a highlight. And we're just like, and we can schedule that for you as well. So we don't always fit it all in. My other location, like I said, Tom, you have to come. And anybody who wants to visit. I tell you, every time a professional hairdresser comes to visit from out of town, they're just like, Diane, it's a lot. It's like watching Venus and Serena play tennis. It's the most beautiful hair. It's hair all day long. It's rocking and rolling. The volume's pumped up. And it's a lot of styling. And also the appointments are scheduled out, but the per ticket value is lower, but a lot higher volume, where DC is the reverse. The volume is lower, but the per ticket value is out the roof.
So the economics. So you got a couple pluses here. You got rent going down by $2,000 a month, and your square footage going up. So seems like you negotiated a good deal. Is there any tips or any highlights on that you want to mention to our group today?
Yeah, maybe when you know better, you do better. I mean, you get into these leases, and that's why the buying the building is much more valuable. And I'm sure many people have done that. It has a lot of value. I do own my building in the Maryland location. The DC location, like I said, just that new value. I just got lost in my own thought. What were we saying? Sorry.
Oh, we were talking about the lease, the new lease, and
Oh, yes,
any tips. Yeah.
So the new lease, I think having the location that I'm in, and I could still work with that. It's a moneymaker. It's a 6-chair. I didn't have to leave. I think that gave a lot of value in negotiating the lease, because I was just like, well, I'm not going because of the beauty of the building. While I do love the beauty of the building, I was going for more square footage, but I wanted, the big thing in DC is triple net, and that's just where all businesses do. And you have to pay, for everything. And I just didn't want a deal like that. I said I wanted a deal at the end of the lease with that option to purchase. And I want some of the value that we put in the rent to be part of the down payment. So I just got very blessed. I thank God for it. We got everything we wanted. And we negotiated $2,000 less per month, because I just said I'm not going to go in to a new location starting at a certain point. I wanted to start at $2,000 less.
Well, so you have a goal of what, like $200,000 per chair, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. And now with the lease, now what I heard you say is that, is your deal with the landlord that part of your rent will go to lowering a purchase price? Is that correct?
Yes.
Who provided counsel to you on the lease negotiations, Diane?
My savvy son, who's a real estate broker.
There you go.
I tell you, like I said, they work here. They work here. They don't work here full. It's like I said, it's very part-time money, very small part-time money, but they're in it because they really believe in family business. They talk legacy. I love hearing them talk. My husband and I, we listen to them, and they come over a little too often. We're just like, we have lives, but they always want to talk about how we can continue to give value to this world of business. So I'm very thankful.
It's very unique. It's certainly, there's a lot of family businesses, but usually what often happens is that if there's 2 family members in a business and there's a dinner, then the rest of the family is held hostage. when the two people, and by the way, that really doesn't happen in the Kuhn family. Aaron and I, we set certain boundaries in space and all that. We're very mindful of separation. I'm not even sure if Aaron's joining us today, but usually it's like, the rest of the group is held hostage while, they talk about work. Now, that's not the case in your family. So I love that you have got expert help on this lease. It's no accident that you negotiated this. I love the idea of having the option on the building. I love that you're able to chip away at that through your rent payments. And now tell us a little bit more about what the landlord is doing. The landlord's covering what? What's the landlord covering?
Yeah. So the additional thing, he's going to do all of the plumbing. He's going to do all of the ventilation. He's going to do, of course, all the drywall for certain areas that we will have to have drywall. He's going to do all the painting. He's doing all the electric work. I did pay for the architect. I did do that. I mean, my sister is an engineer by trade. She's a VP of some big giant architect company.
I was just gonna say, isn't one of your daughter-in-laws an architect or something like that?
No, it's my sister.
Okay.
My sister, she's a big deal in the world of that, engineering. So she says, you are paying for the architect. I said, no, I'm putting that in the deal that he's going to pay. She says, no, sis. She said, you want full control and you want to be involved in every part of the build out. And so that was great.
Well, always like to talk about other locations. So we had Tracy Herring on here, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Candace Gliato, and they both also were expanding. In one case, it was in both cases, they were adding a location. What you're doing is you're moving a location.
Yes.
And in the case of Tracy, she'd experienced both buying one and taking a clean shell like you're doing, and then Candace was a clean shell. So we always love to cover the topic of expansion, and you're covering a lot of areas: smart lease negotiation, footprint, having a vision that you really wanted to have this European feel to it, increasing the capacity of business, some really great lessons. So definitely worthwhile getting caught up with you on all of that so far.
Thank you.
So tell us now, you provide some education, okay? And you've got I'm always a little careful when I have a salon owner guest that has either education or something that they also do. But I think it's warranted to talk about it today. So tell us a little bit about some of the education you do, because part of the relevance to that is that your space that you're in right now also has some extra space so you can provide some education. So let's talk about that for a moment. You have a curriculum.
Yes. And I'm also a top artist for Niox, and I'm a top artist for Wella. And, I love my Wella family. I love my Aveda family and everybody else's family too, Paul Mitchell, but I'm a Wella educator as well. And I talked to Wella about, my multicultural curriculum. They just always give me nice applause. And one of the things, remember, I said, I want to be a person that's a game changer. I always want to be a person who's solution oriented. So I had some very dear friends come to me and they whisper in my ear, Diane, we would love to learn more in multicultural hairstyling. We would love to learn more in color placement for curly hair. Some friends would whisper, Diane, for this texture, I wonder what product choice, what is your layering? What is your cocktails? And so that wound up saying, you know what, let me go ahead and do a curriculum. And it's been really wonderful. Of course, I've always done it in-house. So when I get a new student that comes in, or someone that just graduated from, cosmetology college, we put them right into our boot camp. So now I've made the boot camp easy. I didn't want to make it complicated with textured hair. So everyone who goes through it, and I'm really telling the truth, Tom, they go, like, really? Oh, this is good. So like I said, I want to be part of the solution for no matter who comes in your salon, no matter who sits in your chair, that you're like, I know probably a little bit more about your hair than you do, but I'll listen. And I'll make sure it's a great consultation, but they get to add things that some nice ahas, and they're able to attack the hair a little bit different.
Well, you're doing some great things. You're spreading your wings, certainly continue to go deeper into your Maryland and DC salons. You're providing education. You're also working as an educator. I know also you have the Cinderella Foundation that you started that we spoke about last time. So you are a dynamo of energy and always great to have you. And I can't believe that it's taken me this long to, well, I know how busy you've been as part of it. And I'm always a little reluctant to reach out to people to give precious time, but let's look at some of the comments here. Okay. Joe DeAnda, good morning, Joseph. How are you? Joseph's the only one that calls me Thomas, so I was calling him Joseph. Joseph says, oh my God, how the heck did you get the landlord to do all that tenant finish? Let me guess, it was your son, it was your sister, or any tips for Joe?
Yeah, just like I said, Joe, when you know better, you do better. Of course, you had to get burned a couple times. I've been burned a few times, when the construction project was near $100,000. And I said, I'm so thankful for the leverage. I had leverage. I didn't have to move. But if I am going to move, and I looked at the contract and I said, this is how much you're going to make at the end of your lease, and you deserve it. It's your building. You deserve to earn that money. But if I'm going to come in, we're going to now be partners. And I'm going to gain as well.
Yeah, your entry costs on this are not very high, especially for a major urban area like this. I think you use a lot of points to get your chairs. You get a lot of things from the landlord. So getting in smart is huge. And Michael Shea had a comment for you. Michael Shea from Seattle. He's a Seattle area, actually from the Twin Cities. I had lunch, a delightful lunch with Michael and his wife about a month ago. He said, your kids are providing you with true return on investment. Love that, huh?
Thank you, Mike. That's true. It's been
and lots of great comments about the space from Kate, for example, loves the space. Your good friend, Sam Bricotto, can't resist saying it's good to see your smiling face and great energy. So Diane, I'm going through the chat right now, and let's kind of pivot over to the article that I showed about the great regret. And I asked a question, would you take people back? Let me ask you that question. So if you had someone left your business and during the great resignation, they resigned, would you take them back as employees?
You know what? Probably, this is just my opinion, probably not. Now, there are people that I will call. Sometimes I'll say, hey, are you interested in coming back? Like there's a young lady in my DC location. Her name is Jackie. And I really enjoyed her. And she left the company to start her own. Then I heard she went back into another salon. I did call her. I said, hi, Jackie, this is Diane Stevens. She said, oh, hello, Miss Diane. And I said, I would really love for you to manage my DC location. And she says, can I think about that? And she did come back. So I'd rather pick who I want to come back. And I have no problem calling them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's see what they say in the chat here. Let's give a kind of a blow by blow here. Jan Hill, it depends how they left. Austin Randolph, case by case. Joe DeAnda would rehire depending on how they resigned. That would be my answer, by the way.
Yeah.
Really depends on how they left. If they left with professionalism, they honored contracts, were classy about it. That would be my answer. Terry says yes, and we already have one return. Jackie, hello, Jackie. It depends on how they left. If they left a professional way, yes to the one who is the right person and no to others who were wrong. So depending on how Heather Allen, depending on how they left and how they acted when they were employed, agree to be case by case by Kate. Then Melissa says, I have hired people back in the past. I have some I wouldn't hire back. Definitely case by case by Tony Gordon also. So great. We have a great group today and great comments in there. So Diane, I know I mentioned to you the 2 to 10 project. It's coming up in October. I think you're checking your calendar. You qualify. You have 2 locations. It'd be great for you and a member of your team in St. Petersburg. I told you should come down with your husband. So hopefully we'll get to see you in person very soon.
That would be wonderful. That would be awesome.
And so what I'd like to do is award you your second $1 million light bulb. You can be expecting that in the mail. And what a great contributor. So let's everybody give Diane a collective virtual round of applause. So thanks. Give Diane a shout out for your generosity and all the great work that you're doing. So
thank you, Tom, and thank you, everyone.
And then we're also going to be hearing a little bit more from you because you're a member of our think tank and in terms of this compensation study. So thank you for agreeing to be part of that. We think you can make a big difference. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's see here. Let me give a shout out. Let me see who's with us today. Victoria is with us. So that's awesome that we have Victoria from Wella. Good morning, Victoria. Tony and Terry and Shelley and Sam. Hello, Robert, Patricia, Michelle, Michael, Melissa, Megan. Hello, Megan. Hi, Linnell. Hello, Linda and Kate and Carla and Carrie and Joe and Jessica. How are you, Jessica? Jared, Jan, Jackie, Holly, Heather Ann. Let me see, Debbie, Christine, Kathy, Carolyn, Austin, Andrew, Anna, Amanda. Hopefully I've got everybody here. So it's always great to see people participate on this. I've got a couple other things before we wrap up today. We're trying to keep these sessions under 45 minutes. So let's just see. Oh, we did that. So, all right. Yes, 2 to 10 enrollment has opened. I have passed the torch on 2 to 10 leadership to Heath Smith after a very long 10-year run. They're doing a great job. Of course, I'll be part of 2 to 10, but it's really being driven by Heath Smith and members of our team. So it should be a great conference. Enrollment has opened up. You have to be multi-location. And then also financial wellness for ProBeauty. Reminder about our Money Pro, which is a benefit for your employees, our Money SBO workshop, and then also Qnity for students. Go to qnityforstudents.com. I'm sorry, qnityforschools.com if you want to book a demo. And then, of course, call to action right now is please go to the website, participate in the data study. Here is the URL for this. Somebody will put it in the chat right now too, if they haven't already. Or here's the QR code. That could be a very easy way to just go to the website, just fill out the form, general area of interest, then we'll take it from there for you. And shout out to Lightheart Sanders, who's a sponsor of this event. And we appreciate all of you. It is 10:44 a.m. Another great session with Diane as such a great guest. You guys have a great week. We will be on next week. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Lightbulb Moments. Bye now.